Example.
Okay.
Let me give you an
Yes,
example.
Please do. Yeah.
In 2013, on Holocaust Memorial Day, I'm told that you accused, quotes, the Jews of inflicting atrocities on Palestinians. Now, you could accuse Israel of doing that, but the Jews...
Read it all. Have you got it all?
Not in front of me right now. I've got that bit.
No, you don't. You get that bit, and that's the bit that's used. Nobody reads the first part of it, which was talking about the terrible persecution that the Jews have faced over centuries. It was talking about my visit to Auschwitz and how horrified I was by what I'd seen there. And I was saying at the same time, on a Holocaust day, and don't forget, we went all through this 2 or 3 years ago. This is not new. But what I clearly stated at that time was that it was specifically referring to the persecution, the things that were happening, particularly the Nakba, where 700,000 to 800,000 Palestinians were driven from the homes. 400 to 500 villages were completely
But if you use
empty.
the word Israel as opposed to the Jews on that, then you're in the clear, aren't you?
No,
and people can still disagree with you, but...
No, I'm not, because there isn't anyway. It would still have been said, well, yes, we know you said Israel, but we know what you really meant. There is no way of escaping it. There is no way.
Look, I've now got the full quote in front of me, and I stand my ground on this. Let me just read it to our listeners, and they can decide themselves. You say that you're saddened that the Jews, who suffered unbelievable levels of persecution during the Holocaust, could, within a few years of liberation from the death camps, be inflicting atrocities on Palestinians in the new state of Israel and continue to do so on a daily basis in the West Bank and Gaza. You're equating what happened in the Holocaust to what Jews, not the state of Israel, Jews are doing in Palestine.
Nonsense.
I think that's how most people will interpret that.
But this is old stuff. We've been over this time and time. And what I said at that time was, if you've got that interpretation, and I have to tell you, the BBC carried out a quite extensive investigation of a complaint about me and said there's no way that anybody who's looked at what I said, and particularly the apology, which said that if you thought that's what I meant, then you were wrong, because this is what I meant. And I did that over and over again. But there's no way the BBC concluded that you could say that I was generalising.
I mean, I think what has sparked off what's happened today is that apparently in the hours after the Westminster Bridge terror attack, in some way you sought to justify Khalid Massoud's motives.
Well, it's nonsense.
Well, that's what is being alleged.
It's right, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. What did you say about the terror attack on Westminster Bridge?
I said that I can't think really of any terrorist attacks. There's hate crimes that are certainly being carried out, maybe against gays, maybe on racist basis. But it's hard to think of any terrorist attacks which you cannot trace back to a motivation that has been caused by someone opposed to our foreign policy. It's linked in some way.
But that sort of almost tends to justify it, doesn't it?
Why are you saying that? Why are you not listening to what I'm saying?
Well, I am listening to you.
Could it be? Could an alternative interpretation be that these people with what may be regarded as twisted and corrupted minds, rightly or wrongly, and we would all say wrongly, are taking what we are doing in terms of our foreign policy and reacting to that through terrorism? But what we need to, if we want to stop terrorism, we could either say, as I said about on your program before, about George Bush, that these are just evil people, these are just committing a sin and so on. You can either do that, or you can say, what is it about these people? Why is it that they are doing what they are doing? And if it's because of our foreign policy, what do we need to do? And I gave the example of Saudi Arabia and what was taking place there, what takes place on a daily basis there.
But when you tweet that all terrorist attacks in the UK stem from our foreign policy, you're almost saying, well, therefore we must change our foreign policy, and therefore surely that. Well, it's not just me. It's not me that's saying. Well, it's not me that's saying this. You have said this, that you believe that terrorist attacks in the UK stem from our foreign policy, haven't you?
Tell me a terrorist attack then where the perpetrators were not citing our foreign policy.
Well, they can cite what they like, but the implication of what you're saying is that we should change our foreign policy, and therefore the terrorists have won.
What we should do is look at our foreign policy and see what implications it has for terrorism. That's the way that you stop terrorism. It isn't. Yes, we need to do all the preventive measures that we can, but we need to look at what motivates these people to do what they do. That's how you stop it.
Just finally, because we've almost run out of time, are you thinking of challenging this decision in the courts?
I don't. Oh, no.
No?
No, I'm not.
And it's the end. So that is basically the end of your political career in the Liberal Democrats.
I have no idea where we go. This is not something, obviously, I've come across before. I have no idea what the protocol, what the process is. What I do know is that I will never, ever stop speaking up for the Palestinians and criticising Israel as long as it continues to do what it does.